Thank you for watching. I'm here with Bob Coffey, he's a House District 30 candidate, and you got yourself on the ballot, and it's almost done there. There's a few more days left there, you know.
Right.
Um, we were talking about education before we went on commercial break there. You're an educator. We're talking about whether we should raise the expenditure as far as, let's talk about the early childhood. I want to start there. Do you think we need to raise it? Because we rank pretty low as far as some of this education areas there. And I'm not sure why that is. You could probably answer that a lot better.
We absolutely have to raise our funding for early childhood education. One major reason is poverty. It seems to be this cycle, and everything is intermixed with the problems of poverty and hunger and the lack of education. And when kids come to school hungry, they're not at all concerned about testing or doing well at school. They might be, but they're thinking about hunger. They're thinking about food. We have to completely eliminate food insecurity issues in this state. I think we can. We absolutely must if we want to have any hope of raising our educational outcomes.
So you would want to raise it a little bit as far as early childhood stuff. What exactly do you think is the situation? And I'm not trying to pin you down to any specific thing there, but generally speaking, when it comes to early childhood, is it the parents that are responsible there? Is it the teachers? I mean, how are we looking at this thing now?
I think it's a comprehensive approach.
We have to focus on the parents, correct? To
Yeah.
start off with, and then it comes to the teachers that one?
Well, certainly getting to a livable wage and raising the minimum wage so that working families have more income. That would go a long way for providing more stability with our families and having greater access to medical care. Right now, I believe, for example, with children, we have something like 40,000 kids that still aren't enrolled in Medicaid. And that's a significant factor in affecting their ability to do well in the classroom. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People have to feel that they are safe and that they have shelter and they have clothing before they can perform intellectually.
Some actually say, well, raising the expenditure is not going to help anything because it comes down to the teachers. They're trying to blame the teachers, and you're an educator. What would you say to them when they actually say, no, the blame comes down on raising the expenditure is not going to do any good because there is states like Texas, Colorado spending less than us per student. Like we're spending about 10,200, I think, on the national. When you take the regional median, it comes out to right about that. But there's some states that are spending less. So how do you respond to that as far as?
I think our cycles of poverty are very deep, and we have to figure out ways to get
Has to be economical because it really comes down to how the parents feel at that point and how they look towards their own children, because the children get neglected quite a bit.
Yes.
Because the parents are doing 2, 3 jobs and they're not home.
I see that every year. You know, parents in single parent households, parents having to hold down maybe 2 jobs, and a student going back home, and then perhaps not having someone there to help them make it a decision to do their homework and prepare for the next day versus not doing that. So I see that as a significant factor, is having more income in the households in order to provide more stability. In terms of childhood investment, though, it's really at this comprehensive approach of social, emotional factors that we need to address before a student hits 3 years old and 4 years old, where students are feeling that they enjoy the educational atmosphere and they have food and they have resources that they can get to from preschools or other needs that may be necessary to help them succeed.
When you come up to the high school level, huge high school dropout rate there. We've been dealing with this for many, many years. I have never seen that improve. I know it has to do with the economy. Last few years, our economy tanked, but even prior to that, we had a huge problem with high school. Is there a specific focus? If you were to point a laser, where would you point it as far as high school dropouts? Because that's a higher age group. Because they tend to, I think it's also related to economy, because they tend to move into jobs, into the job market, and they focus on things other than education, and they have no guidance there and end up dropping out.
I would say right now, an educational focus would also to include vocational interests. Not every student wants to go to college and study Shakespeare. Some students want to go to C&M or vocational school and learn how to be a diesel mechanic or be a carpenter. And I don't think we necessarily encourage students to go into trades and professions like that. And I think that would be a thing that we should readdress in terms of keeping kids interested in coming to school so they can pursue professions that they're really passionate about.
Mentorship and things like
Yes.
that sort. I think bring in a lot of people from the private sector, having them having mentorship programs and things like that. It's a shame that we're to that, where we're always ranked in such low levels nationally, regionally.
Right.
Our number, we look so poor when you look at the statistics. Am I
We
right?
do.
Because I'm sure you look at it on a normal basis there.
Well, it's funny because the students I deal with, they're pretty motivated. The kids that I particularly deal with, and if they apply themselves, they're going to some of the best universities in around the country, in colleges around the country, and so. I think there's a great deal of personal character that comes into play in terms of motivation. But I don't think our current philosophy in this state of testing and testing and testing is going to achieve the results that we're looking for.
So you wouldn't test them that much? You'll actually
No, in fact,
testing them.
we are over tested. Many students are in many schools are subjecting students to testing up to 85 days per year of one form or another at ridiculous expenses to New Mexican taxpayers. I'm appalled at that, actually. It's the wrong way to go. It's not motivating kids to prepare them to test and to do well on tests. To some degree it might, to a small percentage, but kids want to, and young people want to connect with classes, and that's really what education is about to me, is if I can get a kid interested in the 14th Amendment and what went into that 14th Amendment and what has come out of our constitutional analysis after the 14th Amendment, that's where it is. And if the student can talk about it and be excited about that and be motivated to study it further, I think that's the goal of education.
Once in a while, we get individuals here, educators and stuff, and I tried talking to a few people. I mean, we're talking about Common Core and things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
On Common Core?
Yeah. It's a new, and it's going to be, I think, implemented by 2015, they're saying, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if it's 2015 or 2016, or it's completely...
I've heard both, but I think 2015 is the target. I think the original idea of Common Core is pretty good in the sense that you're bringing kind of a holistic approach to all subject matter so that students can read and write and discuss a particular topic somewhat in depth. The problem is the tying of standardized test scores to the Common Core state standards. That's not the intention.
It's not the intention there. Let me take a short break. We'll come back. We'll try to get some other topics there.
Okay.
Take a short break, guys. Be right back.